What's up, guys? Just sitting here in the fishing room. Just wanted to do a little recap of the Harris Chain FLW Pro Circuit Tournament. It was actually the best event I've ever had as an FLW Pro Circuit or tour angler. It was a really cool event. I came into it after having some pre-practice down there I think I went down for 4 days. I came into it really wanting to do offshore grass fishing. That's something that I've grown to love here on Guntersville, and so that's something that I was really looking forward to about getting back down there to Harris Chain. I had found some cool stuff, and I knew that I had the potential to potentially get on a big school of fish. Well, long story short, I located a spot in my official practice, that was real close to where I had pre-practiced, and it had a mega school of fish, bigger than any school of fish I believe I've ever been on. I just wanted to share with you guys some of the fish catches, some of the travel, like from this, where we launched to get to the spot. This location that I fished was actually on Lake Griffin. So the Harris Chain is a chain of lakes. So basically, we launched on Lake Harris, Big Harris. Well, it's Harris, and which is connected to Little Harris. And then from there's a canal that goes into it's called the Dead River, and it's an idle canal. You can't go any faster than about 5 miles an hour, and it goes into Lake Eustis. And from Lake Eustis, you can take the Dora Canal down to Lake Dora, which then goes down into like Carlton, and I believe like one or two other small lakes. I can't recall the name of them because I never did go down there. But then that goes down into the Apopka Canal, which goes down to Lake Apopka, which is a huge body of water. It's actually the largest out of all the lakes on the chain. But in the other direction on Lake Eustis, you can take the, it's Haynes Creek, which is where I went. And you go up Haynes Creek, you can run little parts of it, but then there's idle zones in between. There's actually a lock. And the lock, if you're familiar with any kind of a lock, basically you go into it. To get to Griffin, they lower the water. And so you get in the lock, they close the gates, they lower the water, and then you go through the canal, out the other side, and you go down the Haynes Creek a little bit more, and then you finally get to where I was fishing in Griffin. So it actually took an hour. That was just straight travel without any kind of waiting. And so the first day I was fortunate enough to be, I believe, boat 13. So I got into that lock quickly. I got to Griffin very quick. I got on fish fast. It just worked out really well. Second day I was like boat 142 or something. So it ended up taking me close to 2 hours to get up to my key spot. But I just wanted to share with you guys some fish catches here. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Like I said, I want to share fish catches, traveling. It's going to be a little montage of stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I'd like to share the experience at least the best I can with you. I've got a lot of fish catches, so I'm going to have to kind of sift through them and just show you guys some of the cooler ones. Thanks, guys. Stay tuned. So as far as key baits this tournament on the Harris chain go, as you guys have seen, I was casting out in open water, and I was basically fishing an expansive area of grass. And what it was, I believe it's called pepper grass, but it kind of coats the bottom, and it's like almost a brownish kind of, I don't know, stringy. It's kind of an interesting grass. It almost looks dead, but it's not, and it kind of grows across the whole bottom. Well, the area I was fishing was all that, but then there was a depression of about that, so that pepper grass on top of it was 3 to 4 or 5 feet of water, and then the depression was like 5 to 7 feet of water, and it had hydrilla growing in it. And those bigger fish were keying in on that hydrilla area where that depression was. And I was catching fish in the morning or in the lower light conditions around the entire area. But as the day progressed and the sun or the skies got brighter, those fish in general would just kind of slide down into that depression. Key baits for me this week were this guy here. This is a 3/4 ounce. This is a Mega Bass Vibration X. As you can see here, this bait is just torn up. I don't know how many bass I caught on this thing. I actually retired it after the tournament. I felt like it did its job. It got me one of my best finishes it did get me my best finish on the tour so far, and I want to remember that. I want to keep this bait. So anyway, that was the bait that did the damage. Really, really, really cool bait. Gets down in the grass really good, comes out really clean. This is actually a 3/4 ounce bait. I felt like it allowed me to cast really far. It allowed me to cover a little bit more water. And at the same time, it would allow me to speed my retrieve up while keeping it down, contacting the grass, which I felt was key. It was a real reactive kind of a bite. You'd hit the grass and rip off, and then they would latch onto it. A lot of the fish too, they would just hit it when you were straight winding it. And I think if you have like a 1/2 ounce lure, you have to slow down a little bit just to keep it above the grass. I did catch one of my key fish on the first day, one of my better fish the first day on the Vibration X Junior, which is actually the 1/2 ounce version. There were numerous reasons why I changed, but essentially I had pressured the fish with this, and the conditions changed a little bit, and the fish weren't biting as aggressively, and so I wanted to kind of slow things down, and so I picked that bait up. But overall, the 3/4 ounce Vibration X was the deal. And along with this, I don't have it sitting here with me. It's actually on the boat, and it's raining outside, so and it's covered. I don't want to go get it, but I'll explain it to you guys. You guys know what it is. It's a Evergreen or Z-Man jackhammer chatterbait, and I was throwing a 1/2 ounce, and I would transition between chartreuse and white. That's what I threw the first day because it was very, very low light conditions, and I threw a chartreuse and white, and I was throwing a Gambler Little Easy, and I was cutting the tail. If you guys go over to Mikey Ball's YouTube channel, he's got a little video of me talking about how I how I modded my bait and how I cut the tail on that Little Easy. But that was another key bait, was that 1/2 ounce jackhammer in the chartreuse and white, like I said, and then green shad, which is a very similar color, just a little bit more natural. It's kind of got that clearish whitish hue on the top, and then like a chartreuse kind of hue on the bottom. And same deal there. Cast it out, wind it in, rip it out of the grass. The difference with that is it would typically draw a larger strike. This caught big fish all week, don't get me wrong, but the average bite on that chatterbait I felt was a little bit larger. So once I caught fish on this on this lipless, I'd pick up the chatterbait, I'd kind of mix them up, show those fish something different. But I actually weighed all 15 of my bass, so 5 fish for the 3 days of the competition, on that one location on either the Vibration X or the jackhammer chatterbait. So pretty cool. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully you guys get a better understanding of why I was out there in the middle of the lake just kind of flinging around. I was actually targeting a specific patch of grass, actually, even though it just kind of looks like I'm just flinging a bait around. I located that with my Humminbird electronics. Actually, I scanned a lot, and I located that depression. And if it weren't for my electronics, there's no way I would have been able to find that, because it was out in the middle of Lake Griffin, and it would have been very difficult to locate if I didn't have those electronic units. So definitely huge, props to my Humminbirds. I definitely wouldn't have been able to do that without those. But yeah, hopefully you guys take something away from that, and maybe you can apply it to a fishery that you fish. Or maybe if you get down to the Harris chain, check Lake Griffin out and go out there kind of in the middle, Scan around with your electronics. Spend some time on the electronics before you pick a rod up, and look for subtleties. Whether it's a clump of grass, whether it's a depression in the grass, whether it's a clearing in the grass, whether it's a change from hydrilla to pepper grass, or there's different grass out there too, coon-tailed hydrilla, or a mixture of those things. The biggest thing in grass fishing that I've learned is looking for changes or subtleties. But what I mean by that, changes is kind of obvious, like I explained, but the subtleties are those depressions, small depressions, clearing areas, where maybe there's a shell bed in the grass. That typically is why it's not growing there, and that's why it's clear, so those fish will group up in that area. Or if you've got a big wad, really tall, big, thick clump of grass, sometimes casting in that and reeling out, one of your bait comes out of the edge, they'll be sitting on that edge and snap on your bait and latch on. But just look for those subtle changes, look around the area a little bit more, use your electronics, and I believe that you'll catch more bass.
Good luck, Trey. Go time.
hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I had a good time putting it together for you guys, compiling these fish catches and showing you kind of how I got to my spots and all that stuff, and explaining my baits and techniques and all that other cool stuff with you guys. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed to me lately. I've grown like 300 subscribers like really rapidly. I like checked it in the last couple days and it's just skyrocketed like up multiple hundred. I really thank all of you guys for subscribing to my channel. The content has kind of like, slowed down a little bit. It's just because of how much stuff I've got going on. I've got, tournaments. I have shows to go to. I have all kinds of stuff that I'm like focused on, and I'm trying to do as much of it as I can, and I'm just spread so thin, and I'd love to be able to sit down and edit a video a week for you guys, but it just doesn't fit into my schedule. So hopefully you guys stick around and you're enjoying the content that I do get up. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you share my channel with your buddies. Hopefully you learn something from these videos. And if you haven't already, like this video. Obviously you probably haven't already, so like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already and you're watching this. And if you want to, like learn or know when I put content up, hit that notification bell. And thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully you're learning some stuff. Have a good one.